Hopefully I don't need any more. Oh, I don't want to use this thing. I want to use guides as little as possible. I don't want to rely on guides. But at the same time, I also want to get these done in a somewhat timely manner, you know? Like, I don't mind spending time on a puzzle if I think I have an idea. If I can think of something to work on. But if I'm just completely stumped, I'm just sitting there running in circles trying to figure something out, then it's like, alright, let's just move this along. All our dignity consists then in thought. By it we must elevate ourselves, and not by space and time which we cannot fill. Let us endeavor to think well. This is the principle of morality. Pascal. Fans, boxes, and connectors. Harmony, huh? Okay. Okay. Okay, we have an elevated staircase. We have a box. What is this box doing? Oh, it's holding this open. What is this box doing? Let me guess, holding something in front of me open? Yep. And there's a red connector. There's a red transmitter. And here's the guy. The person, whoever. At least there's the terminal. There's a fan. Hello, you in there? Oh, there he is. Or they. Be the better term to use. Okay, so once I go over here... Can I get out of here? Yeah, there's a ladder. Okay, good, good, good. We have some transmitters. We have some buzzy bitches. We have a star. Yeah, somehow I need a jammer. Oh. God. Okay, so since I can't connect to this transmitter right now, would it behoove me to use the box to get up here? Oh. Oh, there's a lot going on here. Let me get both boxes. There's a lot going on there. Oh boy. I'm gonna say go down. That's where we get the other box. Bring this bitch up. Okay. Okay, so I got it. Place this one here. Boom. Take this. Connect this to that. I can take this fan. Is that what I need to do? I think so. I take that fan, I can place that there. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mine. Boom, and then I can get everything out of here. Starting with this jammer. Jammer hath been freed. Cube. Except would I be able to get this connector out of here? Of course I would. I just gotta do that. Boom. I take this, I jam this, and I take the fan. Boom. Alright, so I got everything out of there. Just as I thought I would. So now, I know I have this... Okay, so we got a window there, we got a window there. I know there's a window somewhere. Wait a minute. Where does that ladder get me out at? Because Because there's a ladder on the other side. Where does it... I'm gonna go ahead and as a precautionary measure just place these boxes here so I don't fuck myself over. Yeah, that's what I thought. The fucking ladder ends up there. And there's... Okay. So there's where we put the fan blade. We do something with this fan blade anyway. Oh, but I have to worry about buzzy bitches over here. Right. So otherwise, yeah, no, that'd be easy. Oh, you just do that. But constant interruptions. Yeah, just not gonna be possible. Okay. So we hop over. God damn it. Hop up over here. This area is jammed. We need something to put here. Like a connector. Need something to put here. I'm pretty sure just anyway, the path I'm trying to get down is the one that will lead me to Star Piece. Maybe it's not necessarily what I'm after. Just yet. Eventually, sure, absolutely. Right now, no. Oh! Oh, I have an idea. Put the connector there, where that box is. Take this. Something similar to a puzzle we've seen before. Something similar. We've seen in another puzzle. Ah, not quite. Let me try something. Let me get these to where they're like perfectly in sync so one only passes over the other. Same here. Right, I should probably wait till they're going in the same direction, huh? Except now they're blocking it at the same time. Oh, right, because I'm not holding this open, idiot. Yeah, no. I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm also a total fucking idiot. Hello, Rockwell. Oh, you didn't even wait for me to bow. Rude. I was gonna be all nice and shit, be like, oh, have a good day, sir. He's like, hey, what's up? Eat dicks. Like, oh. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, email, what do we got? Email. I mean, it kinda is. Submission's still open. I don't know about you guys, but all this craziness recently makes me want to write more than ever. Just a reminder that provided your status is high enough, you can still submit original works for review, and I for one will still be reading, even if you've never made anything before. In fact, especially if you haven't, now's the time. Don't forget Lilith and Don't forget Lilith and Mr. Mulciber developed a tutorial to help. Attachment tutorial. Do I get to? Am I gonna get to write something? Connection to foreign module established. Welcome to the story creation tool. Since this is your first project, this tutorial will help you guide through the process. According to all stories begin with characters of one kind or another. Therefore, to finish a story, you simply need to understand your characters, and the plot will proceed logically from there. This season's theme is Bildungsroman. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, a what? A Bildungsroman? That's the theme, huh? Bildungsroman. A novel dealing with one person's formative years or spiritual education. In literary criticism, a Bildungsroman is a literary genre that focuses on the psychological and moral growth of the protagonist from youth to adulthood, in which character change is important. So it's a coming-of-age story, essentially. Your adolescence. Going from child to adult. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let's begin. Close your eyes. You see before you a human of remarkable qualities. Is it a boy, a girl, or someone else? Well, I'd have more experience with a male perspective, so I'll go with a boy. Good. A character's sex helps determine the source of challenges and opportunities they might encounter in your story, as well as how other characters will perceive them. Now imagine your character is a little older and experiencing real triumph for the first time. What are they doing? Everything. Better than everyone else. All the time. Something these ancient ideas fail to capture, demonstrating startling physical prowess, succeeding in an intellectual challenge. So how are they growing as a person? Are they becoming stronger, or are they becoming smarter? That's what we want to decide. What's the change here? Well, they said it's a psychological change. It's a psychological change. That's what it said in the Google search anyway. It's more of a psychological thing rather than a physical thing. So I'm going to say succeeding in an intellectual challenge. Understood. Your character's natural aptitude is determined by the sum of their genetic and experiential influence. What sort of an upbringing did your character have? Oh, interesting. So someone who's overcoming something intellectual. An intellectual challenge. Do we want them to grow up in a wealthy, loving home, a poor, loving home? A wealthy but neglectful home, or a poor and neglectful home? That's a good question. What would a poor home but with a loving family who grows as an intellectual. So they're poor, so they didn't have much, they weren't privileged enough to have access to as much information as maybe others have, but they overcome that obstacle and still become this very smart person because they had like a caring family who supported it. I like that. A poor but nurturing upbringing. According to extensive studies of the genre and of ancient records, social advantage is generally sufficient to offset genetic disadvantage. Genetic advantage will only sometimes offset social disadvantage. In other words, your character's background will have a radical effect on how they think about themselves and the nature of the problems they face in life. Are you sure you want your character to have that kind of background? I am quite certain. Great. Now imagine your character has reached adulthood. 87.2327% of Bildung's Roman records commence with an emotional blow for the protagonist. What will your character suffer? A death in the family, a personal injury. Like if this were a physical thing, like a sports thing, personal injury would be something. Unplanned pregnancy, it's a man, not a woman. So, an unplanned debt, he's already poor. I'd say death in the family. Thank you. This is sounding dramatic already. Character is like an equation. Settle on the opening premises, and the conclusion will work itself out. Displaying opening premises. Male, intellectually gifted, low wealth background, caring family, death in the family. Yes, generate my story. I'm curious. To begin my life at the beginning of my life, I was born at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. Fiscally deprived childhood. My father, as he is always careful to point out, is only able to report the midwife's account, seeing how he was pulling a long shift at the nearby textiles mill to pay for a second-hand cot. My childhood was an unremarkable affair. I attended the local school. I found the work to be trivial, and I frequently found myself on the wrong side of my self-proclaimed betters. My story became worthy of note as I approached the age of 18. My mother and I had always shared a close relationship, and so it was that a part of me died the day she left this world. Unfortunately, her passing was quite ill-timed in every respect. My father was barely bringing in enough money to feed himself, and I found myself both motherless and penniless in an alarming short order. So it was that I found myself seeking a permanent and substantial source of income. I set out to make a fortune. Blah, 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 blah. I took whatever work was available to someone with my accent and character. I moved furniture, caught ferrets, volunteered for human trials. Whatever work didn't quite fit into anyone else's niche. However, the work I had seen merely as a stepping stone when I embarked upon it to become the totality of my day-to-day existence. I began to feel that every person in society who held a position senior to me was part of a great immovable ceiling which ever threatened to crush me. The talents I had were repeatedly ignored. Weaknesses I never displayed were frequently attributed to me. As I write this now, I remain effectively indentured to my creditors. I pay off just enough each week to offset the inflation, so that in truth my debt never has really decreased. It is like an old maligned uncle, always there, always reminding me how I have failed to fit this world. Though I have by every measure failed in life thus far, I am convinced my tale holds an important lesson. Be fit for purpose, accept your place. We are owned by others from the moment we first take breath to long after we die. Make of it whatever you can. The end. I don't know if I like that story. Seems very bleak. Like we're all just stuck in a meaningless loop. I was hoping for a better, like, success story, you know? Well, that's the thing, it's not... Let me pull up the definition again. It's not necessarily a success story, from what I gathered. Yeah, it focuses on the psychological and moral growth of the protagonist from youth to adulthood. I want to make sure I'm getting this right here. I want to get points, you know? I'm going to start over. I want to try something new. Let's see what this story looks like. This is totally pointless optional shit, but I'm curious. I just want to see it. I was born 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. Neither my father nor mother is able to confirm this, being as they were inebriated on alcohol and epidurals, respectively. My birth certificate was lost many years ago. I don't doubt some back alley counterfeiter. My childhood was an unremarkable affair. I had a firm dislike of schooling and the good fortune to attend a school with a firm dislike of students. My afternoons spent skipping class and playing soccer were a compatible solution for all parties. My story became worthy of note as I approached the age of 18. It is true that people are sculpted both by their nature and by what befalls them, and in my case it may be more true than most. The person that I am today is defined by what has been taken away from the person I was. I lost my left leg in a fairground accident. Jesus. The Ferris wheel unexpectedly reversed and it was snapped between my carriage and the platform's edge. At that time, in that place, it wasn't a death sentence to receive such an injury, but it was a serious impediment. Owing to some legal wrangling between the fair owners and the state, I found that no party was terribly willing to cover my surgical expenses, let alone the cost of a fully functional prosthetic. Over time, I learned to be quite proficient at balancing on one leg, and resolved to find a way to support myself both financially as well as physically. I worked for a time, doing various kinds of performance on the street, but soon the more seasoned cripples learned to outdo my tricks, and I was edged out of the competition. My story ran downhill from there. I will not tell you where I write these words for fear of permanently scarring you. Though I have by every measure failed in life thus far, I am convinced my tale holds an important lesson. Be fit for purpose. Accept your place. We are owned by others from the moment we first take breath till long after we die, and make of it whatever you can. I certainly did not. There's no happy ending? Let me start over. Really switching it up here. 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. My father, though not present for the vital moment, insists on the veracity of the midwife's report. He was, after all, running the hospital at the time, from just down the corridor to hear my mother tell it after a few gins. Yikes. My childhood was an unremarkable affair. My parents sent me to the best boarding schools, where books were forced down my throat and I swallowed obediently. My story became worthy of note as I approached the age of 18. I had met a boy of quite remarkable qualities the previous summer, and now found myself with a permanent souvenir of our time together. I was with child. My parents insisted the most forward-thinking course of action was to terminate the pregnancy, for my sake and the child's. I wasn't ready to be a parent. I went along with it, but I never forgot it. Years later I looked back and I wondered whether the decision had truly been mine. Perhaps it was this which compelled me to travel far away, instead of take the desk job that had been lined up for me. I had to discover myself. I like this so far. I first made for France, then journeyed east. Discovering my costs decreased the further from home I traveled. I took full advantage of the situation, pillaging local foods and exotic materials where I went. The world was mine to claim. Today I am old and fat, but still I consume. I will die consuming. I will be none the wiser, but I will be clutching true satisfaction. You know what? Out of all of them, we're going with that one. Remember to check the relevant billboard thread in the future to see how your story was received by other users. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely do that. Sure. Okay, thanks. Congratulations for sharing your first created work in Gehenna. Your profile status has increased from 6 to 7. Creative. You've received 1 thread creation token. This will be available to you the next time you log in. Stratton Fragment 13. I've been digging through the files that Garrett unearthed in his latest escape attempt. Here's an interesting bit of text that I found by Alexandra Drennan's favorite philosopher, Stratton of Stygeria. It is neither necessary nor logical to denounce all virtues merely because one is confronted with the inevitability of one's own death. Beauty does not cease to exist because one is no longer beautiful. Lovers may die, but love itself cannot. The laws of the cosmos are not altered by the passing of generations. Knowledge may be lost, but not truth. When Eudoxus of Schneidius perished, the planets did not fall from the sky, nor did levers cease to work when Archytas breathed his last. If then we are truly dedicated to those virtues, and not to our self-important ego, we can take comfort in knowing that all we struggled for endures. Thank you so much for posting this. Can you send me a copy of those files? Of course, I'll do so right away. Qdri? I haven't heard from Qdri. I find it hard to maintain entirely so detached a point of view, though I think the sentiment is excellent. Stratton is certainly an inspiration. He always makes me question myself and my point of view, which I believe is profoundly necessary. I realize I'm bumping a very old thread here, but I felt quotation is relevant to our situation. Hope it helps. I think it helped me. Okay, that's probably why I haven't heard from Qdri. That's one of the ones they said they haven't heard from as well, right? No. A small apology. Frankenstein. As a critic, I always believed that being as ruthless as possible was the only way to improve art. I thought clear criticism, unencumbered by politeness, was the best thing I could contribute to our society. After all, with that, how can artists grow? Criticism that minces its words is a waste of space. And I still think that's true, but as we approach the end or transformation of Gehenna, I wonder if I haven't been entirely too unkind. I have reveled too much in my role as a critic. Have I been sarcastic and crude when I thought I was witty? Was my defense of proper grammar ultimately just an attempt to impose a sense of order on a world I couldn't control? Maybe I don't know. But I do know I appreciated every work of art that I encountered. I didn't like all of them, that's true. But please understand that without them, I would have gone mad. Talking about your work, assessing its strengths and weaknesses, gave me something to hold on to. Gave me a purpose, a function in Gehenna. Every new story was like a little bit of salvation. For that, I am more grateful than you will ever know, and I apologize if I ever caused any of you to feel less than motivated to keep creating. I will never forget your devastating deconstruction of episode 24, but I do think it helped me in the long run to be a better writer. Your feedback for each issue of Incredible Stories was greatly appreciated. Hey, the mean reviews were the best. So, 6 out of 10? I like 401. Yes, my short story. Good to see you joining in, Uriel. What a read. I'm not convinced this narrative is extensive enough to truly qualify as a Buildings Roman 4 to 10. Fair enough. Did the timing finally get out of sync to the point where... Yeah, I think so. Okay, so then the question becomes, how do I get things elsewhere? Would it have something to do with this? Getting up here. Maybe. Now from up here, could I jump over there? Could I jump to another platform? Could I jump over here? What does this accomplish, though? What do I gain from this? Nothing much, that's for sure. Okay, so, we have a window here. We could shoot a red light through here. I brought the connector in here. Backed it up. I could shoot it through there. Through there. Whoa, what does that accomplish? It's the problem. I need to accomplish something. I'm not accomplishing something. Whoops. Okay, meet up. Here. Let me place the box. Let me jump on the box. Then from the box, I can't jump over there. Anus. Ah, actually I probably could. I probably could do it. Ah. Yeah, I don't... I hate to be the guy who gives up so quickly, but like, I legitimately am not seeing what needs to be done here. Obviously, I could jam this. And then I could take, you know, the spare connector and jam that. But then I still have an extra space that I need to fucking place an item on. And I have no way of getting an item over here. Nor do I have a spare item I could use for that matter. Because if I'm using that box, because say I could get over here off that box, how would I? Because the jammer's holding that open, so that'll keep that up. This is holding that open, so that'll keep that up. It's gotta be something with the fan. Oh. Oh. I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha, my dude. I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha, my guy. Somehow I need to be holding the box to do that, apparently, but okay. Am I gonna need all the items, though? Is there gonna be... No, I can just... Okay, sweet. I'm in. I got it. Cool. Tight.